What if everything you've been told about the future is a carefully veiled half-truth? The Age of Aquarius, often painted in dreamy hues of peace, technology, and collective awakening, is not just a cosmic calendar shift or a New Age buzzword. No, it is a doorway, a rupture in time, a portal through which human consciousness is either elevated or devoured. But here's the secret: no one is telling you. The Age of Aquarius will not gift enlightenment, it will demand it. In ancient mystery schools, this transition was spoken of in hushed tones, hidden in star charts and mythic allegory. The Aquarian Age was symbolized not by harmony, but by upheaval, by the great reckoning of mind and spirit. A time when the waters of hidden truth would pour forth to flood the world, and only those with inner sight would survive the deluge. So what will really happen? Will artificial intelligence become the new oracle? Will old religions crumble beneath waves of personal gnosis? Will humanity unity or fracture irreparably? And most importantly, what are you being called to remember before it's too late? In this journey, we will unveil the deeper currents beneath the astrological symbol. We will peer into the arcane origins of this age, trace its forgotten prophecies through ancient civilizations, and confront the paradoxes that come with spiritual evolution in a hyper-technological world. You'll discover why the Aquarian archetype is not just the water bearer but the water revealer, and how this energy will crack open the psyche of the planet, exposing illusions and forcing us to face what lies beneath. This isn't about predictions, this is about preparation. Prepare to decode what has been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. Prepare to face the esoteric truth behind the Age of Aquarius. And most of all, prepare to remember who you really are. Are you ready? Long before modern astrologers gave it poetic names, the stars whispered truths to the ancient ones. Civilizations rose and fell not merely by chance, but in rhythm with the great clockwork of the cosmos. To the initiated, time was not linear, it was cyclical. Ages, or great years, unfolded like chapters in a divine manuscript, each ruled by a zodiacal force shaping the collective psyche of mankind. We are now leaving the age of Pisces, a time dominated by faith, illusion, and duality. For over 2,000 years, Piscean energy governed the world through organized religion, sacrifice, and the search for salvation through external gods. Its symbols were oceans, fish, and the shepherd. Think of the prevalence of water symbolism in religions, the age of spiritual martyrs, and the rise of saviors who were to be followed, not questioned. But every age ends in crisis, and the transition from Pisces to Aquarius is not a gentle shift, it is an initiation. The ancient Egyptians tracked these shifts through the precession of the equinoxes, a 26,000-year cycle in which the Earth slowly wobbles on its axis, moving backward through the zodiac. To them, and later the Greeks and Persians, these were not just astronomical facts, but sacred knowledge. The ages were ages of consciousness, not merely time. Each one initiated a different challenge to the soul of humanity. Hidden in the Hermetic texts, we find cryptic references to a coming era when man shall become God and God shall descend into man, an alchemical prophecy. And who is Aquarius but the bringer of water, not to quench thirst, but to reveal truth? But why was this knowledge buried? Because power fears awareness. When the Church rose to power during the Piscean Age, it turned astrology, once the sacred science of kings and mystics, into heresy. Gnosis was demonized, and the inner temples were sealed. Only symbols remained, scattered across stained glass, pyramids, and encoded manuscripts. Yet esoteric schools preserved this wisdom underground. From the Essenes and the Zoroastrians to the Rosicrucians and Sufis, whispers of the Aquarian Age survived. They described a time of revolution, not peace, of unveiling, not comfort. A time when the veil of illusion would be torn, and man would be forced to confront his reflection in the cosmic mirror. This age, they warned, would be ruled not by kings or priests, but by ideas, innovation, and energy. The Aquarian glyph, 2 parallel waves, represents more than water. It is frequency, vibration, the doubling of awareness. It is the rise of mental power, of higher intellect, and of collective consciousness, but also the risk of mental overload. A future where mind can transcend matter or be consumed by it. And so, the Age of Aquarius was never a promise of utopia. It was a test. Will humanity rise into a golden age of unity and higher awareness, or fall into a cold world of disconnection, masked by the illusion of progress. The ancients saw this age coming. They left clues in stone, in myth, in metaphor. They knew that when the stars reached this threshold, we would face a choice unlike any before. Awaken or be awakened by force. The real question isn't what will happen in the Age of Aquarius. The real question is, will we be ready when it does? To understand the Age of Aquarius, we must first understand its engine, the archetypal forces it unleashes upon the world. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the celestial rebel. In mythology, Uranus was the primordial sky god, overthrown by his own son. He symbolizes the breaking of old orders, the rupture of stale traditions, and the shock of new awareness. When this planetary force governs an age, it doesn't ask for permission. It disrupts, deconstructs, and demands innovation. This is why Aquarian energy manifests as sudden awakenings, radical technologies, and quantum leaps in human understanding, but it also brings volatility. Just as lightning both illuminates and burns, the Aquarian current reveals truth but may destroy the structures unfit to contain it. Let's go deeper. Aquarius is the water bearer, but paradoxically, it is an air sign. The water it pours is not literal, it's symbolic of knowledge, frequency, and spiritual memory. The bearer is not the water itself, but the conduit of revelation. In this age, humanity is being called to serve that same role, to become vessels for higher truth. But here's the paradox. The same energy that liberates can also fragment. Aquarian power electrifies the mind. It uplifts logic, innovation, data, and systems. We see this already: AI, transhumanism, decentralization, quantum computing. But when mental expansion is not rooted in spiritual depth, it leads to disconnection, cold intellect, loneliness masked by digital connection, a godless utopia run by algorithms rather than compassion. This is the test. The Piscean age was a test of faith. The Aquarian age is a test of discernment. Because in a world flooded with information, the true danger is no longer ignorance, it is misdirection. False prophets will rise not in robes, but in lab coats, in corporate offices, behind social media platforms and digital temples. They will promise progress but at the price of sovereignty. Esoteric traditions long warned of this moment. The Gnostics spoke of a demiurge, a false god ruling over illusion, keeping souls trapped in mental prisons. The Aquarian age, they implied, would be a time when the veil thins, and man must decide whether to serve the machine or awaken to the divine spark within. But not all is dark. In fact, this age offers unprecedented opportunity. The collective field, the psychic grid of humanity, is becoming more receptive. The rise of synchronicity, the acceleration of manifestation, the rediscovery of ancient practices like breathwork, sacred geometry, and inner alchemy, these are Aquarian fruits. This is an era of decentralization, not just in politics or money, but in consciousness. No longer will spiritual authority lie in institutions, it will return to the individual. Each person must now become their own mystic, their own scientist of spirit. This is why the Age of Aquarius is often linked to the return of Atlantean memory. Atlantis, according to esoteric lore, was not merely a physical civilization, it was a state of advanced psychic and technological harmony that fell due to spiritual arrogance. The Aquarian age brings a karmic echo of that potential, to merge the mystical and the technological, but only if wisdom leads. We are reliving that tension now. Will we repeat Atlantis's fall by pursuing godlike power without heart? Or will we rise into a new golden epoch, where spirit and science finally walk hand in hand? And make no mistake, the tipping point is not in some distant future. It is now. With every choice we make, we tilt the scale. Every act of conscious awareness, every decision to align with truth, every step toward inner sovereignty, it all matters. The Age of Aquarius is not arriving to us, it is arriving through us. And as more awaken to this truth, the collective field shifts. The question, then, is not whether the Age of Aquarius will bring transformation. It already is. The question is, what will you become in its wake? The deeper we descend into the Aquarian current, the more the surface symbols dissolve. What we thought we understood as progress, as freedom, as evolution now reveals a complex web of paradoxes. This is the nature of true esoteric wisdom. It refuses to be pinned down. It invites us not to believe, but to perceive. Let's begin with one of the greatest illusions surrounding the Age of Aquarius. It will be an age of unity. Yes, but unity at what cost? True Aquarian unity does not mean sameness. It means harmonized diversity. Yet, we see increasing pressure for global consensus, digital oneness, even hive mind ideologies under the illusion of peace. When unity is enforced by control, it becomes tyranny dressed as progress. This is the Aquarian shadow. Every zodiacal archetype contains its own polar opposite, its internal serpent. While Aquarius brings light through awareness, its shadow is detachment, coldness, technocracy, and spiritual bypassing. It craves liberation, but risks losing touch with the sacred. It champions humanity, but risks forgetting the human. This is why the ancients warned of a time when man will seek to become God, yet forget his soul. We must remember, progress is not always evolution. Let us look to the mystics. In the secret teachings of the Zohar, it is said that when the waters from above pour down Aquarian water, so too do the waters from below rise up. One is wisdom, the other chaos. Only those who have built an inner ark can sail through both. Similarly, in Eastern mysticism, the Kali Yugathi Age of Darkness is said to end when inner light begins to outshine external corruption. And what follows? A cycle where higher mind and divine truth reclaim the world. Again, the timing aligns. The Aquarian age is not the end but the turning. Here lies another paradox. Aquarius is the age of collective evolution, yet it demands radical individuality. Not egoic rebellion but soul remembrance. You must stand alone before you can unite with others in truth. This is why we see the rise of identity crises, existential anxiety, and the collapse of old roles. These are symptoms of initiation. You are not losing yourself. You are shedding what was never yours to begin with. Even the rise of AI, often feared or worshipped, carries a deeper message. Artificial intelligence is not merely a tool, it is a mirror. It reflects what humanity values most: speed, efficiency, intellect, predictability. But it also reveals what we are forgetting: empathy, intuition, spontaneity, and mystery. AI will not replace humanity, but it will expose what is no longer human within us. This, too, is Aquarian in nature, the confrontation between the mind, created self, and the eternal soul, between synthetic consciousness and organic gnosis. Consider also the symbolism of the tower in Tarot, often linked to Uranus, Aquarius's ruler. The tower is sudden collapse. It is the moment of revelation that shatters false security. It does not destroy to punish, it destroys to free. It is the sacred storm that clears the way for truth. This is where we are now, globally and individually. Structures are falling: religion, government, education, even personal belief systems. The Aquarian current is sweeping away the sediment of centuries, not to leave us barren but to expose the fertile soil beneath. It is not the end, it is the clearing. And finally, let's unravel the most hidden thread. In ancient alchemy, the Age of Aquarius was aligned with the stage of distillation, where the essence is drawn from the chaos, purified, and reintegrated. The soul is stripped, clarified, and finally reborn into a higher octave. So, while this age will bring chaos, it will also bring clarity. While it will test the mind, it will also unlock the heart-mind connection. While it may seem cold, it holds the potential for a new warmth, a universal compassion born not from blind faith, but from awakened knowing. Not all will embrace it. Some will cling to the old ways. Others will drift into nihilism, addicted to digital illusions. But a third path exists for those willing to walk the razor's edge between intellect and intuition, between sovereignty and unity. These are the builders of the new temples, not of stone, but of frequency. And so we ask once more, when the final veils fall, and the mind is naked before the soul, will you be ready to remember what you truly are? In an age where the sacred is digitalized and the soul is buried beneath information overload, the real power lies in remembering this. You are the technology. The Age of Aquarius doesn't just ask for awareness, it asks for embodiment. It is no longer enough to know spiritual truths intellectually. They must be lived, felt, ritualized. So how do we tune ourselves to this frequency in a grounded, practical way? Let us begin with the foundation: inner alignment. 1. Recalibrate the mind through stillness. Aquarius amplifies mental energy. If unmanaged, this becomes restlessness, overthinking, anxiety. To harmonize with this frequency, you must become the observer of your mind, not its servant. Try this. Begin each day with silent contemplation or non-linear journaling. Let your thoughts flow unfiltered for 10 minutes. Then pause, breathe, and notice the patterns. Over time, you'll start to see what is yours and what is programming. This small act cultivates discernment, the highest Aquarian virtue. 2. Ritualize technological boundaries. The Aquarian age is hyper-connected but often disconnected from the soul. Create sacred spaces away from screens. Build altars, light candles, incorporate stones like amethyst linked to higher mind, and black tourmaline for grounding. Weekly practice. Choose one day for a digital Sabbath. No screens, no scrolling. Just you, your breath, your inner temple. Watch how your nervous system recalibrates. This returns sovereignty to your attention, a key act of rebellion and liberation. 3. Return to earth-based wisdom. Though Aquarius is an air sign, its lessons can only be integrated through embodiment. Reconnect with nature, not for escape but for resonance. Walk barefoot, touch trees, observe the sky. Speak your intentions aloud under the stars. Ancient ritual. On the new moon in Aquarius, write your vision for the world you want to co-create, not just for yourself, but for humanity. Burn it safely, releasing it into the field. This aligns your will with the collective current. Aquarius asks not just, what do I want, but, what does the world need through me? 4. Strengthen the subtle body. The energetic body is the interface between your spirit and this new Aquarian frequency. Practices like Qigong, Kundalini Yoga, or vocal toning activate and cleanse this inner circuitry. Daily breathwork. Try the 4 to 7 -8 breath or alternate nostril breathing. These regulate the nervous system and open the crown and third eye, the centers Aquarius energizes most. When your subtle body is clear, synchronicities become obvious. Guidance flows. 5. Inner gnosis. Practice electric honesty. In the Aquarian age, truth is not a luxury, it is survival. Begin a practice of radical self-honesty. Ask yourself daily, what illusion am I still clinging to? Where am I outsourcing my truth? What is actually true for me, beyond all conditioning? Journal or speak aloud these questions each night. Let the answers come without judgment. This daily integrity builds the vessel. You become transparent, capable of carrying Aquarian waters without distortion. Cultivate soul tribes, not echo chambers. Aquarius rules collective consciousness, but beware, not all groups nourish the soul. Seek out soul-aligned communities that encourage critical thought, personal growth, and spiritual accountability, not spiritual dogma or digital cultism. Practice. Host a monthly gnosis circle. Invite a small group to meditate, share insights, read esoteric texts, or explore inner questions together. True Aquarian energy thrives in the fusion of minds and hearts. In short, to live the Aquarian way is to balance the electric and the eternal. You don't need to escape the modern world, you need to spiritually encrypt yourself within it. You are not waiting for the Age of Aquarius to happen. You are initiating it through every conscious breath, every reclaimed thought, every sacred action. This is how you become the water bearer. This is how you rise. We stand now at the precipice of a great unfolding, not a prophecy carved in stone, but a living invitation echoing across timelines, waiting for you to answer. The Age of Aquarius is not a distant myth or poetic metaphor. It is here. It pulses beneath the chaos, hidden in plain sight, in the silent rebellion of your consciousness, in the sacred discomfort that tells you something deeper is awakening. The world may look divided, confused, even lost. But this, too, is part of the great design. Just as the river stirs before it clears, the collective soul trembles before its rise. This new age is not promising ease, it is promising truth. Not comfort but clarity. Not control but liberation. You have always carried the code for this time. Every spiritual longing, every intuitive whisper, every dream that didn't make sense until now, it was preparation. You didn't come here by accident. You are not just a witness. You are a participant in the great turning. So ask yourself, will I be a consumer of light or a conduit of it? Will I cling to the old familiar, but crumbling, or will I step boldly into the unknown, where soul and star converge? The Aquarian age needs not just thinkers, but visionaries. Not just seekers, but builders of inner temples. Not just followers, but fierce, luminous individuals who remember they are not separate from the cosmos, they are the cosmos, waking up from amnesia. So, to you, water-bearer of the new world, we say this: the stars have shifted, the current is rising, and the gate is open. Step through it not with fear, but with fire. Not as a servant of the age, but as its living architect. Because the future is not something that happens to you. It is something that awakens through you. If this message stirred something ancient in you, share your thoughts below, your visions, your questions, your resistance. You are not alone on this path. And if you're ready to dive even deeper, consider subscribing. This is just the beginning. Until next time, walk gently and carry the light well.